Hello there, what's crack? I like it, I'm Scotty or not. It didn't crack because I'm reshooting this intro. But I wanted to keep that in. This is a video I wanted to do a long time. For a while, but saved it now. It was the top 10 standalone horror movies. As I'm inspired by Cody Leach to do this. As I was going through, I'm like, there's no way. You're looking at the title and you go, Scotty, I think you mistyped. No, it's not a mistype. This is a top 11. Because like the Nostalgia Critic, I like to go one step beyond. And also, I couldn't figure out. I had 10, and then I realized on my 31 second, oh no, this has to go in there. And I could not pick any movie to get booted out of this. So it's a top 11. It's a rare occurrence for me. This is a top 11. A top 11. So, obviously you're thinking, well, standalone horror movies, it couldn't be that hard. Well, my criteria was, it can have no sequels, remakes were fine, and it can be a remake. Like, I had Invasion of the Body Snatchers on the list for a while. It's in my honorable mentions, we'll talk about it. But, because they never had any sequels. You had the 50s version, 70s version, there was one in the 90s called Body Snatchers, and in the 2000s there was The Invasion with Daniel Craig and Nicole Kidman. All remakes, no sequels. So that was on the list. And also they can have no sequels currently and none in production. So you're thinking, oh, standalone horror movies. Okay, how about It Follows? Yeah, they're making a sequel to that. Oh, Ready or Not? No, they're making a sequel to that. And then last year they made Smile 2. This year they do The Black Phone 2. More modern ones I kind of put away. And then I thought, Deathgasm. Because they always say they're going to make it, but it never happened. Literally, as I was putting my pile together, the next day, I had a stack. I'm going to go through these. Deathgasm was on that stack. The next day, the trailer for the second one came out. So, bitch, that's off the list. So, yeah, it was not very easy for me to do this list. Especially with so many great movies. I also am doing a follow-up. What we're talking about, standalones. How about movies that should have been standalones? Horror movies that never should have got sequels. That's a follow-up list I'm going to do at some point. But let's briefly talk about my honorable mentions. I know I changed my format, but I want to kind of get over with. I also didn't want too many crossovers with Cody Leach's video because I want to kind of stand out. I don't want to have... We have some similar tastes here. I have a couple honorable mentions that were also on his list, and that's when I realized I need to kind of change things around and make it my own. But we do have 3 in common, and that's why I took the other 2 out, because there's way too many in common. But we have 3 in common, but I had to keep those 3 in here because I feel so much. Honorable mentions. We have Frailty, which is another one that Cody and I have in common. This is I think we will both defend this movie. I think it's very underrated, underutilized. Bill Paxton directs this. He stars in it. Yet Matthew McConaughey, and because look at that. That's Matthew McConaughey. But I look at that and I don't think Matthew McConaughey. I think that looks like Dan Stevens, right? It's Matthew McConaughey, and what it is Bill Paxton plays this father of 2 boys, single father. He comes home. He says, God has chosen me to take down demons. And one kid is in on it, the other one says no. And it's like narrated by Matthew McConaughey, who's one of the kids, talking to Powers Booth. And it's just this whole movie of, it kind of, is this real? Has the dad lost his mind? It's a whole kind of situation in it. We have A Cabin in the Woods, which is a fantastic film. I always love watching this. The more I watch it, the more I say this is so goofy, and the more I think they tip their hand too soon at revealing what is actually going on. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil that. But like, the trailers didn't spoil it. But one of the first few scenes of this is like, okay, this is not what we thought. I think maybe I've always thought this. Maybe they should have held back on revealing stuff. But, you know. You have Mayhem, which I feel gets lost in the shuffle because everybody looks at the Belko Experiment that came out around the same time-ish and says, oh, it's the same film. And I think this is lesser. This is better than the Belko Experiment, okay? What it is there's this office building that has been selected. There's this virus that they have declared you cannot get in trouble for because you are not responsible. It's a law firm. They have declared that if you are under the influence of this drug or disease or whatever it is, you cannot be held responsible. You cannot be persecuted. You're not being held responsible for your actions. It cannot be persecuted in the court of law, right? That's the whole thing. And so this whole office building, this whole law firm gets dosed with this thing in their water, and it makes people go crazy and lose their minds and all that. And I think it's done better than Belko Experiment because the Belko Experiment, it's very much people know what they're doing. They're of their own mind. They're just told they have to kill people. That's a little here takes the edge off. This mystery thing, it takes the edge off. You know. Like I said, the first remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, fantastic film, but I don't know. I'd put it in this list. Idle Hands. If you know what Idle Hands is, I hope to God that remake never happens because the same people or somebody comes in and knows what the hell they're doing because it's the same people who did Hell of the Summer. And no offense to Finn Wolfhard or Billy Brick, but they needed more people to come in and rewrite that script. And so I hope they do better with this one. I hope it works better. But Devon Sawa plays this kid, the stoner kid, and his hand starts to act up. And it turns out there's this curse where his hand gains sentience and kills people. And so now him and his two stoner friends who are now dead and zombies have to try to stop it. And Vivica A. Fox also shows up with the neighbor from the Brady Bunch movie to try to help in a way. Thrill me. Night of the Creeps. What can I say about Night of the Creeps? It's 50s sci-fi in an 80s setting, and it works. And then this one I was iffy because it's Jennifer's Body, right? Jennifer's Body. But while no sequel has been announced, they want to do one. So that's why I put it in the honorable mentions. Okay? That's why. Alright. So now we're on to my actual top 10 after spending 8 minutes on the honorable mentions. I'm going to run through. So, it's my official top 10. Number 10 is a movie that I heard about from watching another movie. So I watched the movie called... I watched Deathgasm, actually. And I watched Sinister Cinema's review. Sinister Cinema reviews... Jason from Sinister Cinema, his review of this. And he brought up Blood Punch. And so he wasn't going to give any spoilers or anything for that movie. I found it on Tubi and I watched it. And you know from my review, I was wowed by it. It's Blood Punch. I was so wowed by it, I bought the DVD. Blood Punch. And what this is, essentially, is that Milo Cawthorn plays this guy who's in a rehab facility for selling meth. Now, I was confused at the beginning of this because it's like he's there for selling meth. Didn't say he was doing meth, he was just selling it and they put him in a rehab facility. I don't know. He meets this woman who talks him into breaking out, and her little boyfriend guy, who's this guy, to go to a cabin in the middle of nowhere to make meth. And when they get there, they realize not everything is the way it should be. There's betrayals and killing, and then there's time loop stuff involved. It's great. I do recommend it. So that's number 11. I forget there's 11 of these. Number 11. Number 10 is a movie that Alan gets confused for another one. Oh, it went to. It's Trick or Treat. That's Trick or Treat, not Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat. What it is there's this. It's Skippy from Family Ties. I think he's the main character. He has this rock idol, Sammy Kerr, who dies in a hotel fire, and he gets a hold of this record of his. You play it backwards, and it summons the spirit of Sammy Kerr to come and kind of get revenge for this kid for all the bullying and everything, and it's fantastic. Again, this is one that Cody recommended to people, and I'm like, him and Dum Dums at one point, but I'm just like, yeah, if you're a metal fan, if you're a rock fan, I think it even goes into that. And yes, it gets overlooked because everybody's looking at Trick or Treat, or even that other movie with the gift bag called Trick or Treats. But it's on every streaming platform. But this thing I had to watch on a VHS rip from YouTube the first time I watched it, and finally got the Blu-ray because it deserves it. Gene Simmons has a cameo in this. It's great. Number 9 is a movie called The Autopsy of a Jane Doe. Essentially what it is, it's his father and son who run this, I have a full review on it. They run their own mortuary. Their own, whatever. Their own, what am I looking for here? The morgue. They run their own morgue. And a body comes in from a crime scene that they have to look at. And as the night goes on, it becomes weirder and weirder. There's like ghosts and demons and strange things happening. And that you basically just have to try to survive the night because with this thing. And you get a feeling that perhaps this isn't the first time this has happened. That alone, they could do sequels with that. Or even prequels, but they haven't. We just have this. So. Number 8 is an Italian horror film that is in English. It's an Italian director, Michele Soavi, excuse me. But it's in English, for the most part. And that's Cemetery Man, or Della Morte dell'Amore. What it is Rupert Everett plays this guy who runs a cemetery. He's a cemetery guy with his friend Yagi. And every night the dead comes back to life, so he's got to shoot them down. He then falls in love with this woman that he sees at this funeral. Things don't go so well with that, but he keeps seeing different versions of the same woman. There's that, then it's the mayor's daughter, or someone else's daughter, then it's another woman, and then the ending is one of those endings where you just go, huh, did they not know how to end it, or it's just a choice, and this is one of those, once I found out there was a Blu-ray, I had to grab it. Great. Number 7 is the first one on the main list that Cody and I have matched up, and that's The Burning. And like him, I'm surprised this never got any sequels. If it's in the 80s, there's a lot of like one-off slasher movies in the 80s, and you understand why I didn't get a sequel. This one I don't understand. This movie is so high caliber. You got, the big Harvey Weinstein on the back, but Tom Savini's doing the gore effects. You got, there's a particular, the raft scene is great. And Cody mentioned this in his, but I kind of get it. Maybe Cropsey in itself is not the best looking villain, but look at what they did with Jason at first, right? Like, with Jason, it was a dude with a bag on his head, and then in the next one, he gets the mask. But he's also deformed, like Cropsey. So I don't know. They just never did a sequel. Did it deserve a sequel? It's always weird to say if something deserved a sequel or not, because you could say that, but then you'd be like, well, what if it sucked? You know? Or what if it was forced, like with American Psycho 2? Oh, we're going to get into that at some point. And then, the hell number, man. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Number 6 is another one that we matched up on, and that's Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, which they wanted to do a sequel. Never have. I don't think we're ever going to get it. But what this movie is essentially it's a deconstruction of the horror genre in a way that Wes Craven didn't do it, but another way is that it's a found footage film. This crew is following a serial killer named Leslie Vernon who's gearing up for a bloodbath, and he's basically going over all the tropes and everything in this world where Freddy, Jason, Michael, Chucky, you name it, they exist. Rumpelstiltskin could still be out there. Who? I'm recording this and probably putting this out before that review is up. But the Leprechaun could be real, for all we know. All those the horror icons, they exist. And so he's trying to be like that. And so it kind of deconstructs the horror genre, deconstructs the slasher genre, mostly. Like, oh, why it looks like they're going slow, but they can still catch up to them, and that the whole thing. And, yeah. And it's really well done. Alright, now it's time for me to sort of differ into my own personal world here. I've already done it, but anyway. Number 5 is a movie called We Summon the Darkness, which I watched last year, I think, or so. And it's one of those, and it's one of those movies where I can't say too much. But it's these 3 girls going on a road trip to see a metal concert. And they meet these 3 guys, and they decide after the concert to go to a party. Things go south from there. And you got Alexander Daddario, Johnny Knoxville is in this. Yes, I said it wrong, but Johnny Knoxville, Santino, Amy Forsyth, who I'm surprised is not even related to William Forsythe. And then you have Matty Hassan and Logan Miller from like the what was he in? He was, well, I'm in the band, but he was also in Escape Room. That's right. But yeah, and I really can't say too much more with this, but yeah. Number 4 is the only other 80s movie I have on this list, I think. Yeah, of the 3, yeah. I think. No, there's one more, but like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, alright? I don't know, people pass by this. They're like, oh, it's a goofy B movie, and I push it to the side. This is one of the best standalone horror films ever made. There's no sequel. They've talked about it. They franchised it. There's a video game. They want to do more. I'm open to more, but I don't think we're ever going to get it. If we do, then this list will be kind of moot. And if you don't know what it is, essentially the small town gets rocked when clowns from outer space land on planet Earth and start to capture people for food. Just for food. And yeah, it's batshit insanity. Alright, so number 3 is a movie I never hear talked about by anyone. And I don't know why. It's directed by Peter Jackson. Stars Michael J. Fox and Jeffrey Combs. The Frighteners. I feel like this is like, when you think of underrated, it's a Universal movie. I'm still going through what I'm doing for Universal next year. Universal month. This could have been Universal Horror. And this is due for revisited. I might make the list. Anyway. What The Frighteners is. Michael J. Fox plays a guy named Frank Bannister, who can speak to ghosts. Has been able to do it his entire life. No, not his entire life. He's been able to do it since a car accident that killed his wife it's like I believe is what it was, if I remember correctly. He was in a car accident with his wife, I think it what it was. And he had a near-death experience, which now allows him to speak to ghosts. He uses that to make money, of course, until he meets this woman, played by Trini Alvarado, I don't remember her character's name in here, whose husband has just died, and it seems like each time someone dies, he sees a number on there. It's connected to a serial killer from many moons ago called Johnny Bartlett, played by Jake Busey, fantastically by Jake Busey, connected to Dee Wallace's character, and it's like a mystery. You also have Jeffrey Combs, who's hot on the trail, thinking Frank might be behind it, and he's also sort of an antagonist. It's a fun movie. It's a horror comedy. This needs more recognition. It really does. So my number 2 is the same as Cody's number 2, and that's The Faculty. Why this never got a sequel, I don't know. Faculty, if you don't know, and if you don't know, then why? Watch the movie. Well, it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and even you can add Killer Clowns from Outer Space in there too, and Night of the Creeps, where like this town gets rocked when aliens land, and here like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, they take over people's bodies and minds and control them. And unlike the other one, the ending is different. It's more of a happy ending, but this group of teenagers, not including Usher because he's barely in the goddamn movie. I think his scenes were cut, but yeah, you try to hang it down. You got stacked cast. Let me read out this cast. For some reason, Jordana What's-Her-Face is listed first. I think maybe it's alphabetical order. Yeah. You have Jordana What's-Her-Face, Clea Duvall, Laura Harris, who's not on the cover, Josh Hartnett, Sean Hatotsi, right? Famke Janssen, who's on the back, Baby Newworth, Piper Laurie, Baby Newworth, Robert Patrick, Usher Raymond, John Stewart, and Elijah Wood. Why is Elijah Wood his last? Because his name. Elijah Wood. Stacked cast. Also, Shooter. Christopher McDonald also plays Elijah Wood's dad in this movie. So, yeah, he's in here. He's not mentioned in the cast either. But, yeah, it's... By the way, Famke Janssen's credit in here. We have Robert Patrick, Terminator 2. John Stewart, playing by Hart, whatever that is. And Famke Janssen's credit is Deep Rising. She was in GoldenEye before this. Just say GoldenEye. Deep Rising. Well, Irish. Just say GoldenEye. And number 1, reason why this had to be a top 11. This movie I've talked about ad nauseum, but I'm going to keep on talking about it because I can. And that's Society. Directed by that old son of a bitch, Brian Usna. Society tells the story of Bill, your average teenage boy, who starts to realize his family may be a little weird. His sister's cleaning herself backwards in the shower, and her skin is bubbling, going to weird parties, and people start acting very, very weird around him. And, yeah, it's a slow burn, but every time I watch it, I end up liking it more and more. It leads up to what is called the shunting, and if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it, but that's when the shunt hits the fan, and when everything is revealed about what is going on, it is just fantastic. It is fantastic. It is great. And I love this movie. I absolutely love this movie, and that's number 1 because I said so. So, what are your thoughts on my list? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.